guys, it's me, Tikaani, and today we are continuing our discussion of Southern Charm Savannah, Season 2, Episode 7, Turks and Consequences. For some reason, this episode wasn't on Peacock. I usually watch all my episodes at once or like over a couple days. And sometimes I get distracted in the middle of a season and I just will wait to finish it off until I'm feeling inspired and wanting to watch it again. And Peacock removed this episode, so I had to go to the Bravo app, sign up, use one of my 3 valuable credits because you know I'm not buying more. And watch this episode on there. When I also looked, I noticed that they are also missing an episode from season 1 as well. So I wonder if all the episodes are going to be deleted. If so, this isn't on Peacock anymore and it's on Bravo. If not, Peacock might be missing a few episodes, I guess. But it motivated me to finish the series, so let's get into it. We start off the episode with Haygood and Catherine getting spray tan as they prep for the Turks Caicos trip. They then head to the porch and have a little heart-to-heart. Haygood shares her feelings about the rice farm, and Catherine talks about Lyle. Meanwhile, Hannah's meeting up with Lyle and invites him on the trip. She does tell him that Catherine's going to be there. And not wanting to turn down a trip, Lyle says that he'll go. They all get on the plane, and Louis is running late because he had to drive all night from where the trade show was to the airport. So he's really tired. Once we get to Turks and Caicos, we see that Hannah also invited her friends Robin and her sister Hillary. Everyone's at the bar, drinking up a storm, including Lyle, who appears to already be drunk. He was drinking on the plane ride, before the plane ride, after the plane landed. I mean, that man is wasted. Get it? So wasted. Wasted? No, I can't. Lyle goes to the bathroom, and when he stumbles back, Hannah jokes about everyone drinking more. And Lyle blurts out, "You'll be back on your knees in no time." The whole table freezes. I can't believe Lyle said that. But I'm also not really surprised. Hannah then tells us in her confessional how her and Louis have had problems being intimate, and Louis probably confided in Lyle. So it feels like a personal attack. Hannah's then like, "This is a trip of yes. We're gonna have fun, positive vibes." Then Lyle turns to Catherine and says, "No means yes, and yes means anal." I don't know why he said that, but he did. And here we are. The table goes awkwardly silent again, and Catherine chirps up that it's not about her, she doesn't do anal. It's just a thing her and Lyle say back and forth to each other. They go back to the villa for a little more drinking and getting ready for Hannah's birthday dinner. Unfortunately, Louis is exhausted from the drive, and he is just falling asleep all over the place. Catherine dumps some water on his face to wake him up, and he just rolls over. He's definitely tired from the trade show, selling his socks, and of course the plane ride. And Hannah's a little disappointed. I mean, it is her birthday dinner, and she wants Louis to be there. She asks Louis if he's coming, and he just absolutely refuses to go. So everybody leaves for the dinner party, but Louis, of course. At the restaurant, Catherine sits next to Lyle, and it's probably a good thing that Louis didn't go because he would get really upset about that. Daniel also makes a comment about Hannah being able to tie a cherry stem with her tongue, and so she goes to do it, and Haygood goes to do it too. And Haygood beats her, like, her time was half of Hannah's. And nobody celebrated Haygood, they only celebrated Hannah. So, I felt that, Haygood, you did a good job. Then, the gang decides to play a game called Let's Be Honest, which, again, is questions, not a game. But okay. Immediately, Brandon confronts Lyle for being verbally abusive to Catherine, and Catherine cuts him off and tells him to handle that in private. But then Haygood jumps in and says that she's seen abuse, and Lyle's not being abusive. I understand that Haygood has seen abuse, but abuse can look different for everybody. Now, I'm not saying Lyle's the abusive one in the relationship. We don't really know Catherine and Lyle personally, of course. So we don't know how their relationship was or if it was abusive. It's definitely toxic for sure. But people are really good at masking. So even if there was like abuse going on, you'll look at them and you'll be like, "Oh, there's no abuse going on there," because they're hiding it. Most people won't be open about the fact that they're abusing people. And most people that are being abused won't be open about the fact that they're being abused. Being abused can make someone feel shameful or embarrassed. Maybe they've reached out to someone before and they just laughed at them. Or they said, "Well, why don't you leave?" Because it's just as simple as that, just leaving. So we don't know if the relationship is abusive, so I'm not going to comment on that personally. But again, abuse looks different for everybody. So, just because someone doesn't look abusive or you haven't seen them be abusive doesn't mean they aren't. And surprisingly, Lyle actually agrees with Brandon. Lyle tells Brandon that he and Catherine play a really messed up game together and they're not treating each other very well. Catherine's like, not me. and tries to disagree, and Hannah calls her out for it and says that she absolutely does play mind games. Then Daniel starts being like, actually, Catherine's the abusive one. And as they're again arguing about that, the waiter just brings in the birthday cake. It was probably the most awkward birthday cake entrance I have ever seen in my life. And I've probably seen at least 3. The next morning, Lyle and Catherine decide to go for a walk on the beach. Lyle apologizes to Catherine, and they agree to have a fresh start. Meanwhile, Hannah, Robin, and Hillary are meeting up with Hannah's mom. Hannah confides in her mom about Louis' promise to propose this year, and her mom's immediately like, weren't you guys on break over the holidays? And then her mom accuses Louis of stringing Hannah along. In her confessional, Hannah talks about how her parents' divorce really affected her relationship and how she views things. She's left feeling like she doesn't have a home. And Hannah's mom calls her out for putting too many expectations on Louis. If she wants to make it work, she needs to reel it back. Hannah wants stability with Louis, and she wants it to work so bad. So she recognizes it, and she decides that she's going to have a discussion with Louis of things that she's willing to compromise on and things that aren't compromisable. It seems like she was going into this conversation with a positive mindset. So when everybody decides to get on a yacht later, Hannah pulls Louis aside. Hannah opens up to Louis and says that she had a bunch of expectations for him because she wanted what her parents had before they split. But now she realizes life is unpredictable and you can't have the highest expectations. She tells Louis that she loves him and she wants to make it work with him. And then Louis says that he wants the same. Then Hannah retorts, why do you keep making choices that hurt me then? She wants Louis to put in as much effort that he puts in his sock business into their relationship. And it's just clear that he's not doing that. Louis agrees that he'll start trying to work on things. And Hannah's like, that's not enough. Actions speak louder than words. You need to show me what you're working on. You need to improve. I realized I always had this vision of what my life would look like because of my childhood and how perfect that seemed. But it ended in disaster. It's not a real expectation for us. I do love you, and I want to make this work. We've been on a break, but I haven't felt single. I'm invested in us. I want to be with you. So then why do you make choices that you know are hurtful to me? Are you willing to work on us as hard as you work on your sock line? I am, but life and relationships aren't perfect. I'm willing to let go on some expectations, but I'm not willing to let go of all of them. And we need to work on them. I'm willing to work on them. I have been. That's not good enough. What other problems do you have, Hannah? And then Louis goes off. Louis claims that Hannah's asexual and just throws it out there like it's just a fart in the wind. And he's like, let's talk about the fact that you haven't touched me. You leave the bed when I go to touch you. Whenever I do this, you recoil. And he's just like explaining that Hannah doesn't like sleeping with Louis. Hannah then goes on to explain that the reason she doesn't sleep with Louis is because she feels like his mother. She's always taking care of things, and she needs him to pick up the slack a little bit. She's not asexual. She's just not sexually attracted to Louis right now because he's not providing her emotional needs and to help her feel loved. I don't feel I've been treated with... That's bull. It's not. How about the fact that I'm a male that's 38 and you're asexual? You don't even touch me. How will you improve that? I get into bed, you leave. I touch you, you turn away. Why do you think that happens, Louis? It's not because I don't love you. I have to get what I need from this relationship to have intimacy. Understood. I know that. Half of the time, I can't even get in touch with you. That's not true, Hannah. That is true. What about what I need? I've spoken your love language for 5 years. And it doesn't make a difference because you don't reciprocate. It's been the same for 3 years. You can find some dude waiting on your every beck and call and doesn't care to have intimacy with you. I hope it works out. Louis is just so upset with Hannah and he just dumped her on the spot. Hannah was trying to have a conversation with him and she was trying to actually work on the relationship. She didn't expect them to break up. It was clear that she went in with the intentions of them figuring stuff out and then just working through it together. But instead, we get stuck with Louis yelling at Hannah on her birthday at the yacht. So, it was really pleasant. And then dumping her on her birthday. It was something. So, we end the episode with Louis going downstairs and Hannah bawling her eyes out. What did you guys think of this episode of Southern Charm Savannah? Do you think it was wrong for Louis to call out Hannah for potentially being asexual? And since she says she's not, I'm inclined to believe that she's not asexual. But whether she is or not, I don't think people should be just throwing that out in an argument. In my opinion, if Hannah is asexual and she doesn't want to have sexual relationships with someone, that is totally fine. Relationships look different for everybody. I mean, you do have to make compromises and work on things. Really, there's more important things than bed intimacy. Like, I don't know, spending days together, playing video games together, whatever you want to do. I don't know. Reading a book in the same room as each other. You know, there's other things you can do to have quality time that isn't necessarily ruffling in the sheets, you know? So that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like or dislike the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next video. Bye, guys!